All right, Shalom, Makim. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, I just want to title this lesson, the world's most dangerous animal, which are the Edomites. This man, his blessing is the sword. And this is his solution to any and everything in the earth is by the way of violence and destruction. Whether he gotta cut you open or cut something off, whether he gotta prick you, everything about this man is destructive and violent. And we're about to see this man, pretty much show who he is on full display, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. But I got this article from FoxNews.com, and it reads, Chicago crime, National Guard push move to forefront of Trump's week. So, as you can see, you got Trump, in the spirit of making America great again, so-called trying to clean up the crime. And this is his form of doing it. And ultimately, when you think of Chicago and the crime, the mascot is Jake. Beginning with you so-called Negroes, as well as the Latin tribes. This nigga hate all of them. But as you can see, that all that marching and you niggas think you just gonna have your way, all that shit finna be wrapped up now, man. It says Trump calls his plan to curb crime across U.S. cities common sense. So this is how he's gonna rid you niggas, man. He lets you niggas have your way. You got your switches now, and nigga been scamming for all this time. Now it's really Yahweh Shai putting that hammer down. It says President Donald Trump's strategy to address crime in U.S. cities may come into sharper focus this week as he reiterates his call to deploy National Guard more widely. Over the weekend, Trump doubled down on his plan to curb crime and crack down on illegal immigration, specifically in Chicago. Hey, so that's Judah and Jerusalem. Like I said, the crime. When you think of the crime at Chicago, you really think of the Southern Kingdom. Then it mentions the crime as well as the illegal immigration, which is the northern tribes. Because at the end of the day, of course, you had 2/3, but Israel as a whole is a threat to this man. It's not a hard push to go round up Moabites, to subdue some fucking Hamites and Arabs. No, the push is to really get Jake. And we're going to see how dangerous this man is. Pretty much, let's see. We ain't got to get nothing else. Like I said, man, this nigga dangerous, man. The so-called white man. We're going to see that come out. It's going to come out in its fullness, Let's get some real quick of the book of Psalms, chapter 140. I start at verse 1. It reads, Deliver me, O Lord, Yahweh by Shai, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. Who else could that be but ye? his blessing with the sword as we read. Matter of fact, let's get there in Genesis. Let's see. Matter of fact, yeah, let's start at verse 40. Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. It reads, "And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And when it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck." So this is part of the blessings, which it was temporary, you know. And this what made it temporary right here. This was Ezra was going to cut him off from the other things that Isaac previously said, such as the fat dwelling of the fatness of the earth, and you know, this right here, this sword that was given unto him was ultimately was his blessing, and that's how he got all these things. But that's how he was going to ultimately lose it, because this man's fate is World War III. But this is how he's going to be able. It said, "By thy sword shalt thou live." How he was going to be able to grow and continue. He needed his sword. That's why you have fighter jets. You got tanks. Back then, you had the Gatling gun, things of that nature, for this man to continue and grow. It says, "And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob." See? So so it makes sense why he was given the sword. This was always in his spirit, even going back to Cain. He was that violent man, you know. Matter of fact, continue on. It said, "And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau is touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee." See? So we finna see that in its perfection now. This man have a military, and you know, with the advanced military gear, from the night vision goggles to drones and robots, you know, the different type of smart bullets, and so this is what he's gonna do. This is what he's gonna use to comfort himself. He's gonna use that sword. He's gonna get violent, you know. So go on back, and that's why we pray that the Lord keep us, you know, from this man, because it's the Lord that gave him a sword. The Lord gave this man the blessing, you know. Psalm 140 verse 1, it reads, "Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man." See? And see, it's gonna the category is gonna broaden as well, you know, with the crime, because as well, you know, you have attack on free speech and censorship. Certain things can be considered a crime. You know, you tell a man that he's a man that's a cross-dresser, and you tell him that he's really a man, you know, depending on what region you are, you can potentially be locked up for that shit, man. He can be justified in using excessive force, even with the illegal immigration. When that chip comes, when that seal, which is the mark of the beast, you know, that's gonna officially make you a citizen. You know, they could say you're trespassing, you know, or anything of that nature, because you don't have the chip. You shouldn't, you know. So this is how this nigga get down, man. And we finna see the devil that the Bible speaks of. We see it now, but it's only going to intensify. It says, which imagine mischiefs in their hearts, see? And that's within these secret councils. Nothing but mischiefs to really keep his head above water. All this bull, the wickedness that you see and the commotions, the infighting within the people. This nigga is the one, Esau, the so-called white man, really beginning with these elites, the bankers, those that really call the shots. They the ones that orchestrated the masses that you see on the planet Earth. Talked about how the earth is defiled under the inhabitants, under the watch of this man and him being in power. You have the LGBTQ, you have chemtrails, and pork chop sandwiches. It's so many categories of wickedness and madness here on the planet Earth, man, because of this man. It says, continually are they gathered together for war. See? So this man, that's what he wars with everything. That's his solution. That's his solution for everything. Is the elder going to elder around, this devil has the war on drugs and the war on terrorism. He even had the war on COVID. So this how he get down. So now he's waging war on. There's a war on crime and a war on immigration. And that's why we had to just hope the Lord keep us, because these niggas, he's that, like I said, the title of the lesson, that violent, the world dangerous animal. And there's nothing more dangerous than a dangerous animal that has been wounded. And that's this man, that wounded animal that has been backed into a corner. So he's going to do everything in his power to keep going. And that's why another reason why he was given that sword. Because if it wasn't for that sword, he would have been wiped out, man. Matter of fact, Tion says they have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. Keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent men who have purpose to overthrow my going. See? Because that's ultimately the gear that Jake. This nigga got that, like I said, that patriotism, that nationalism, make America great again. It's these niggas' fault. Because that's what it's coming down to. And then it's going to be more specific. It's going to be the Israelites. See, everything is being broad so he can move the goalposts in a sense. But as you can see, the violent man. And it said to a purpose to overthrow my goings, because we the target, man. That's why we hope the Lord keep us. And like I said, this nigga got his technology. Of course, it's going to have to take divine intervention. The Lord's going to have to step in, man. Let's get something else. This is the book of Psalms, 59. Psalms chapter 59, verse 7, it reads, behold, they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. For who say they doth hear? See? And that's what they do. They through their laws and legislations is really they're waging war on the people. You had the Patriot Act, for an example. That justified him waging war on the American citizens. These different laws and executive orders that's on the books. Is an effort for him to, justify using his military, man. He said, for who say they doth hear, because he does it in a cunning way. He is the cunning hunter. He ain't gonna blatantly say, yeah, we gonna. No, that a hunter, does things in with deception in the sense from the clothing to the bait and even the weapon. Usually is a bow and arrow because it's silent, and that's how this nigga get down. And you don't know you hit till you start getting dizzy and you look down and you see the arrow. But just going back to the point that this man is a violent man, and there is nothing more dangerous than the wounded animal. And that's what Esau is, the so-called white man. He's a wounded animal, and he's going to do everything in his power to stay in power. And that's why we're seeing now the military is getting more involved with being part of the solution with things. So now you're seeing the National Guard that's gonna fix this crime and this illegal immigration thing, and it's gonna only increase, man. It's only gonna intensify. It's gonna show you that this man is the devil. So, a matter of fact, let's what's that? Is it Joe? Bear with me. Let me see if I can find it. I think that's it. Now, I think. Let me see. It might be. Right, this is it. Party y'all about Smell Shot. Con, Psalm 58, I start at 1, it reads, Do ye speak righteousness, O ye congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? And this concerning the Edomites. Because these are the ones that's in power right now. And they don't speak righteousness because look at their laws was on the book. They allow a man to be married to another man. They allow pork to be sold in stores. So they just show you that they don't speak righteousness. And then do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Going back to that, what's on the books. You would be locked up if you catch, for an example, you had the recent case of the damn guy got caught in the act of adultery, and the guy, he put him to death. Yet this nigga had to get he got locked up and had to be on bond, but still is going to be charged. You shouldn't charge. Really, the ones that committed the act of adultery should be charged. But it just show you how topsy-turvy this place is. It says, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. See? That's why you have the terms of world war. This is what this man have done, man. He have these terms, world war. That came under the watch of the so-called white man. Who else could they be talking about? So this is how he get down. So if he got the power to do this, imagine when he feel like he's against the ropes. Oh, he's gonna go all out, man. And that's why we just hope the Lord keep us, from the teeth of this beast. Matter of fact, let's end off on that in the book of Psalms 124. Psalm 124, I just run through it. Psalm 124 and 1. If it had not been the Lord who was on the outside, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on the outside, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us. See, if it wasn't for y'all by small shot, this devil will have his way, will be wiped out, man. Because you can see the wrath is kindling, the wrath of this devil is being expressed. And ultimately, once he lunch, it's going to be the hands of the Lord, Yahweh, to keep us from this devil, man. But if the Lord just gave him the go, man, we'll be finished. It says, then the waters had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our souls. Then the proud waters had gone over our souls. See, that's going back to Esau. Because that's one of the characteristics that's associated with this man, which is pride. It says, blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth. And also going back to this man being that violent animal, dangerous animal. When you go into Daniel the 7th chapter concerning that fourth beast, which was wrong, which we in the revival of wrong. One of the characteristics of that beast was the great iron teeth, which is his military might. So that's what this nigga is known for now. The fruit, the proud, the Marines. Even the nigga military budget is the biggest on earth. So who else could it be associated with? It says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. And that's concerning being delivered by the way of the so-called UFOs. Because a bird don't run out. If it just say, for an example, it escaped from the net. It don't run. It flies. So that's how we're going to escape America. We're going to have to fly out of here by the way of escaping from by the way of the chariots. It says, our help is in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, who have made heaven and earth. And it begins by believing in this first. And it lead to the Lord, helping. But just going back to the point of being kept from this dangerous animal, that the so-called white man, we seeing it now. The teeth is being more and more exposed, which is his military. So I just holy will edify. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the elect, the teaching word in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom.